or not as far preferable to an unstable regime that might side with the Soviets. Even after the collapse of the Soviet Union, US dollars and military assistance continue to flow to Arab regimes cited by human rights monitors for violations of human rights or lack of democracy, including Saudi Arabia, where a Wahhabi regime limits women's rights, Iraq, which violated human rights severely, Turkey, which has suppressed the movement for Kurdish autonomy, Israel, which doesn't enforce equal rights for its Arab citizens, and the Egyptian government of Hosni Mubarak, where an Egyptian American was jailed for encouraging voter participation. The US also supported the military coups in Tunisia to depose President Bourguiba, and in Algeria when the Islamists appeared close to winning a national election and won fairly. Recently, the US supported transfer of power in Syria from the late Hafez al-Assad to his son, despite Syria's supposedly republican form of government. All these American hypocrisy are for oil fields. Since Standard Oil's 1936 discovery of massive oil deposits in Saudi Arabia, ensuring access to the region's fossil fuels has been paramount on America's foreign policy agenda. The 1973-74 OPEC oil boycott and the invasion of Kuwait in 1990 are both dramatic examples of how regional forces have challenged US access to fuel. The 1973 boycott was particularly dangerous at the time. Arab nations supplied 37% of the oil consumed by the non-communist world. To this day, ensuring the supply of oil from the region weighs heavily on the development of US foreign policy in the Middle East. Thus, US became the most aggressive imperialist force within the globe. Israel became its strategic partner. Oppression continues, so does the resistance. History could be very much helpful to understand the rise of the evil imperialist force. Now, a rough sketch of US false policy in the Middle East and the upsurges against warmonger US-Israel pact around the world in the last 50 years will be presented. In 1947-48, UN votes to partition Palestine into two states, one for Jews and one for the Palestinian Arabs. 300,000 Palestinians were forced to flee Jewish-controlled areas. Jewish forces prevailed, declaring Israeli independence. The US recognizes Israel. 1953, CIA helps Iran's military coup, deposing elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh, whom US sees as communist threat. The US installs Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi as ruler of Iran. In 1956, Israel attacks Egypt for control of Suez Canal. Britain and France veto US-sponsored UN resolution calling for halt to military action. British forces attack Egypt. 1966. US sells its first jet bombers to Israel.